Hey everybody, it's Josh. I wanted to talk a little bit about loneliness, family, grief. I just watched a video on the road, get to watch a lot of videos, listen to audio books, all the good stuff, a lot of music. But just watched one where this preacher was talking about mental illness. He said basically mental illness doesn't exist. Said it's just basically grief. And when you walk with the Lord, you're saved. Basically cures all. And I get where he's coming from. I understand. It's completely wrong, but I understand where he's coming from. You do have to find your faith. You have to find that spirituality to fully understand, to fully know yourself. And that allows you to deal with things with wisdom, with purpose. And with purpose and wisdom, most things are cured. Walking with the Lord, having a relationship with God, the reason that is so powerful is because when you walk with God, and I know this from my experience, when you walk with God, everything is, you take things as they come. You have no fear anymore. Those fears are what make us anxious. They scare us about what will happen in the future because of what happened in the past. They scare us about death because we're so worried this whole life will have been for nothing and there'll be no afterlife. These are the fears that God eliminates. These are the fears that you overcome when there is that peace from knowing God and knowing yourself. Because I really do think that they go hand in hand. God, for me, is the one who introduced me to myself, my true self. But to say that mental illness isn't real is ridiculous. Is dementia not real? Is brain damage not real? Brain tumors? Of course it's real. It's a slap in the face to anyone who deals with it, just saying that. You have to understand that some of these religious people, they see the power of God in themselves, and sometimes they get drunk with that power. When they see the power of God in themselves, they don't consider, they can't put themselves in others' shoes. And I've said it a bunch of times, that is why God showed me about my suffering. Because of course mental illness is real. Of course grief is something that can lead to something like PTSD. And now I get it, not everybody gets PTSD from very traumatic experiences. In fact, it's a small percentage. But you see something traumatic, or something traumatic happens to you in war and life, you know, car wreck where you see your loved ones die, anything like this. And the triggers of that, you know, you hear a loud noise, a balloon popping or something. You think of the bombs from war. It just automatically triggers that fear sense in your brain. You have to overcome it. And when we're in that fear state, it's almost impossible to overcome. Now, God did give me that sense of inner peace so I could deal with those fears as they come. As I've said, if you've watched my other videos, I'm on my way to Pennsylvania right now, out stretching my legs. Have both my parents very sick. My wife's aunt very sick. That wrapped up in all the other day-to-day things in the world. It becomes overwhelming. It just feels like you can't breathe sometimes. And if I didn't have that peace from God, I would feel that exact way right now. But here I am, I stopped at this beautiful lake. I found all the best places to stop on the way to Pennsylvania to walk around with my walking stick, hobble around for a little bit. And all the bugs are out too, but it's so gorgeous out here. It's so beautiful. And this peace that God gave me, of course, it gets piled up so high so quick. It starts to layer up on there, and you do feel like you're suffocating. But with the peace that God gave me, I'll feel that for a moment, and then I can brush it away. And I know, as crazy as things get, that this is God's plan, and that I have to trust in Him, and that I walk along with Him, not on my own. You know, I have so many comments of people who are lonely, or they're either lonely because they just are maybe outcast in society, maybe they're just shy people, or maybe they're lonely by choice. Maybe they have isolated themselves a bit. That's how I was. I was always a very outgoing person. Even though I was socially anxious, I found that I could make people laugh. And that got me out, and I got a high from it. I got a high from making people happy in that way. So I made them laugh when I could, and I loved it. And when my back went, my back problems, my disability, all the things piling up. And not only that, but I grew up. When I was young, I used to think adults were all like my parents, just very generous people, very kind people. You know, obviously I knew they were different in different ways, but I always respected my elders and kind of looked up to older people for their wisdom. And then when I got older, I started to see how crazy this world is and how sick our society is. And you know, you watch the news, you watch the headlines, and it's just nothing but just sick, lost people. who don't know a damn thing about what they're doing, but they just want chaos. Many of them are lost. Some of them have embraced the chaos. The very few of them are just evil people. And it really just made me not want to be around anyone. You know, I had the few friends that stuck around when I had my disability. And many of them were like, well, you know, he's my drinking buddy, he's my party buddy. And now he can't do that, so what's the point of even reaching out to him? It's true, I can't go out and do the things that normal people do. Go out, I can go to a dinner, and that's about it. You know, I can't sit there for very long. So I don't want to put my problems on someone else. So I just isolated myself. But the ones who do that because they're shy, because they don't know how to talk to people, or maybe they see the news, or maybe they see the people around them and how they act, and they're like, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't even know how to be, and I don't want to be. You know, the dating thing is, wow. I watch some people talking about that sometimes. And man, first of all, there's a thing going around asking women, would you rather have, if you're walking alone in the woods, would you rather have a bear approach you or a man approach you? And so many people were saying, I'd rather have a bear approach me, because a bear is not a sick, evil, twisted freak like that man would be. That's sickening that we've gotten to that point. And I understand a lot of women are watching the ID channel and watching nothing but Lifetime movies where men are just all these evil, you know, they're going to assault them somehow or manipulate them, and a lot of these women, one of the women that I saw post this the first time I heard about it, she is a person who I've known the people she's dated, and she's dated nothing but just these men who were just egotistical, just really awful to women. But she sought those people out to date them. So no wonder she feels that way. And the good guys are at home paying the price for that. Paying the price for that picture that has been drawn of men. You know, they're saying, don't have kids, don't do this because we're going to kill our environment. I mean, this world is upside down, and I don't see it getting fixed unless the good people rise up and do something about it. And by that, I mean spreading love, spreading light, true kindness. Now, I did my video the other day, and I got a comment from a really good guy. I love that guy. I don't know his name, but just his screen name. He's an awesome dude. He was saying that kind of the same thing, like, you know, people are just so twisted now. Why would you feed into that egotistical, just feed into their narcissism, basically? Why would you contribute to being nice to these horrible people? And I told him, I don't know if some of these videos I'm saving to post at different times because I probably won't be able to post for a while. I told him about I'll see a little snake swimming in the water out there. You won't be able to see it on camera, so I won't even try. But I told him about the drug den hotel that I stopped in last night, and how I was talking to two men in particular, and just a middle-aged white guy and a middle-aged black guy. And we brought, somehow religion came up because it seems to come up naturally. And I told that man, I told them both about why I'm a Christian and why, how Jesus, to me, one of the greatest things was God loves us so much that he made himself a man, and that so we can relate to him. So we can relate to a man, because we put everything in parables and stories so we can understand them better, like the existential issues of the deeper issues. So trying to relate to a being outside of space and time and trying to relate to a man, so much different, so much easier to relate to a man, flesh and blood. And that man's eyes lit up. Now, I also told him about, there's this lady in my neighborhood, and she'd always give me a dirty look whenever I waved at her, but I just, so I stopped waving at her and just basically just ignored her. After I was born again and awakened, whatever you want to call it, I started waving to her again. And then one day I actually struck up a conversation with her. She was out there, and I was like, oh, hello, and just trying to have small talk with her. Turns out she's just in awful pain. She's in pain all the time, and it's probably why she's got that mean look on her face. But I saw her and I was like, well, that's that mean old lady again. Don't wave to her, because she's not worth waving at. She's not going to wave back. She's not going to do anything. Why did I need her to wave back at me? Why did I need that? If I hold the door for somebody or let somebody out in traffic and they don't wave to me, sometimes I'm like, oh, what an asshole. But why? Why do we have to do charity only to get something in return? Like, oh yeah, you're such a good guy, thank you for letting me out. No, we should do it because it is the right thing to do. We should do it because kindness and love are contagious, just like darkness is. That lady glaring at me every day, she's in so much pain all the time. Probably just sees me ignoring her, just like everybody else probably does now. And she's like, I hate everybody, people are such assholes. I can't take it. What good does that do the world? Don't go in to doing any act of kindness to expect something in return. The only thing in return you need is knowing that you are spreading that love, that fulfillment you get from that. And I don't know how your all's family situations are. I have a lot of family who, there was a big fight in my family like years before my back. It's been so long now, I can't remember when it was. And this family that was so close, so loving and so tight, just split up. Split up because some people just had to have power over others. Some people had to have control. And when my grandfather died, those people said, now it's my turn to be in control. And their half of the family went along with that, and the other half didn't. And so a big split, and we really haven't talked much since. And I get it, you gotta cut toxic people out of your life. Toxic people is a very hard term to define, because somebody who's toxic for you may be great for others. Or maybe somebody who's toxic might just be lost and not feeling loved. Or maybe they're scared because they've had such hard things happen to them in life. I'm not saying you have to let people into your life who are going to make it miserable. Definitely not. But you should love them and forgive them anyway, no matter what they do. Because I'm sure that in every situation, even situations you think you're not at fault at all, life is layered, life is complicated. There's definitely parts that are on you. You have to overcome that. You have to accept your part in it. And sometimes the only choice you can make is just to be the better person, just to give that generosity without expecting a damn thing in return. Because often you won't get it. But that is what having that relationship with God shows you. That unconditional love and forgiveness. And as I said, forgiveness does not mean you forget about all the bad things they did. Of course, you know that because you can't just let somebody keep using you and treating you like garbage. But you don't have to hate them. You don't have to put that in your life. That's just doing nothing but bad things to you. We need family. Our spiritual journey is a lonely journey, one we have to do most of on our own. But God sends people into our lives that are going to play a huge part of it. And they're not going to walk on that path with you forever. But you might get a very long stretch of it with them. That's a blessing. They could be gone tomorrow. So cherish them. Cherish the world around you. Cherish the beauty. I know it's hard to rewire your brain. It is possible. Our brains are just a machine. Our souls are something much, much more. Something closer to God. But the machine can be rewired. Might need medication, sure. Might need some sort of treatment. You have to go, like everything, with trial and error until you find what's right for you, what works for you, and a lasting peace for you. And I hope you all do, and I hope I can help guide you there. Because I know one of you, some of you I won't be able to help. I have a feeling that one of you, maybe, hopefully more, will play a vital role in this war of peace to bring love and peace back to this broken, twisted world. I love you all. Hope I talk to you soon. God bless.